Warning: this video features sexually explicit narration. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey, my name is Shadowsense and you're watching First. We're in Valeria's room. As you can see, has a nice taste in art. She does. We're about to ask her some questions about abilities, vampire bonds, what's it like living in the modern world? Who knows? I'm just trying to get some vampire poontang, but that's between you and me. But she also knows, so it's not between you and me. Ignore what I said. Let's ask about abilities. You said something about having an ability, like magic powers?
Magic powers? I'm not a bloody wizard, but I suppose you could define it as a power. It's nothing just any of us can learn, but something deeply ingrained in certain select individuals. Some of us don't have anything special beyond the usual vampire bullshit. Speed, strength, being smoking hot and exceptionally good in
Of course.
etc., etc. But then there are special cases, like Laura and I, who have precious gifts.
Like being able to see a person's aura? Not Ilias? She purses her lips, contemplating my question.
Ilias is special in the sense that he has a terrifying, unquenchable thirst and flies into a blood rage if he gets even remotely excited about the prospect of murder.
Ah, so he's the barbarian of the group. His senses are impeccable too. As you discovered, he can sniff out prey with startling ease. I've never seen him fail a kill. She sighs dreamily.
An impressive beast indeed.
I try not to focus too hard on blood rage and force a smile. We haven't quite been able to figure out if he's just like that or if it's an ability. He says he's quite enjoyed killing people before he was turned, though, so I guess that could have carried over. Just another of life's many beautiful mysteries, I suppose. Ha! Yeah, much to think about.
Anyway, enough about that brute. It's Valeria time.
Hell yeah, it is. She flicks her hair over her shoulder dramatically. I have one that humans call cerebrokinesis. Consider my interest highly piqued.
A handy little trick indeed, especially when needing to subdue my prey.
She grins, fixing me with a pointed stare. Gulp. There are many factors to such a power. Mnemokinesis, sedation, but my favorite is what Illy so eloquently calls my mindfuckery. Mindfuckery? She takes a step closer, twirling a strand of her hair around her fingertip. It's anything but coy. I can show you if you like. Closer again, her fingers coming up to curl underneath my chin. She tips my head back slightly.
I'll be gentle. I have no interest in breaking you. Yet.
I knew there was going to be a yet. Despite every single one of my instincts telling me that I should probably at least try to have a little interest in self-preservation, the cool touch of her skin against mine is alluring. What do you mean by show, exactly? She shrugs, dropping her hand, but I remain frozen in the position that she placed me in, chin tilted in almost submission. She wiggles her fingers like spider legs. Oh, you know, I just dip into your consciousness and show you some pretty pictures.
Unless it isn't a pretty picture you're interested in, of course. I can conjure up anything you desire. Pain, pleasure, fear, a trip to the beach. Just pick your poison.
Let's do pleasure with a little bit of pain. Show me something spooky, show me something sexy. Beach sounds good, I'd rather not. Show me something sexy. I swallow loudly and fix her with my best bedroom eyes. Give me the sexy shit. She snorts.
Ah, typical, just like Laurel and Illy. But, lucky for you, this happens to be my strongest area. Close your eyes, kitten.
Okay, they're closed. Not really. I listen and close them tight, and the effect is instantaneous. I'm on a bed, the sheets are blood red and impossibly soft against my bare skin. I can feel hands upon me, but I can't see them, their touch drifting carefully over my hips, waist, ribs. They press firmly, kneading at me before turning soft and gentle, fingers tracing the cut of my clavicles, then up over my throat. I can't tell how many of them there are, but I feel overwhelmed. The best kind of overwhelmed. Like my brain is about to explode and a galaxy is going to burst to life behind my eyelids. Overwhelmed. There's a quiet whisper in my ear, a voice that feels familiar but I can't quite place. Maybe it's Valeria, or Laurel, or Ilias. Either way, the voice says things that causes heat to bloom across my cheeks and the tip of my ears, everything burning hot, hot, hot. Just as I'm about to break, as I'm dangling off the precipice, I'm yanked back to my harsh reality. Well, it isn't all that bad. Valeria's here after all. Valeria, who's looking at me like she wants to eat me whole.
You're so receptive, kitten. That's good to know.
What can I say? I'm a simple guy. Sexy vampire lady tells me to do something, I do it, you know? It's just how it be. My skin still feels all hot and sticky, my palms clammy. Knees weak, arms are heavy. That was, fun. A lot of fun. You're very talented. I know. Vampire bonds? So how exactly does it work with the three of you? I know you said that humans got your kind wrong, but do you have mates, or are you just the same as us? She laughs, a quick, sharp bark.
Same as us. That's cute. We might be soulless, and our hearts may not beat. We are still capable of love. Even if that love is different from how a human might experience it.
She pauses and purses her lips, her gaze lifting to the ceiling. I suspect she's trying to find the right words to explain so that my tiny human brain understands.
Our ability to love and care for each other is vast, despite all of our darker aspects. A lot of us are nomadic because we have to be. So finding partners who you tolerate enough to spend centuries with isn't something that comes easily.
I snort at the tolerate part as Valeria bristles, but she's smirking.
Yes, tolerate. Believe it or not, we are actually quite fond of each other.
Oh, I believe it. Excuse me. I can tell. I just wonder what it's like to be wanted like that. She observes me with a tilted head, her eyes unnervingly bright in the din. In the din? What? You mean din? I don't know. I don't know if that's a typo, if that's just like a sentence structure that I'm not privy to. She's sizing me up again, but it feels decidedly less murderous this time.
Vampires are driven by their instincts. We feed and fuck and fight.
Ah yes, the three
There's
Fs.
little room for much else. Fucking and fighting. Just different verbs with similar structures.
Yeah, kinda. I nod furiously.
But then when you do find more, well, you cling to it.
She waves her hand dismissively and makes a derisive noise.
Oh, it's all very complicated. I doubt your tiny human brain could handle it, honestly.
I snort again. Maybe she read my mind. I'd kind of like to understand. Maybe. If you'll let me. Valeria sighs deeply and takes my chin in her hand. I think it might be a habit of hers.
You ask a lot of me, little bird.
What's it like living in the modern world? I think about her leaky attic comments and all of the weird, wonderful, and frankly fucking terrifying adventures that she's been on, and I can't help but wonder, how the hell did you end up here in Portland? She looks a little taken aback at first, but her expression quickly softens into something akin to understanding. Well, like I said, things didn't exactly work out the way that I planned. The way any of us planned, I suppose.
It's precarious being a vampire in this day and age. The court dictates that we have to adhere to their silly, archaic rules and lay low. Otherwise, we'll be eliminated.
Oh, the court. Okay, so there is like a hierarchy of vampires in this world. She punctuates the end of her sentence with some pretty sarcastic air quotes. Wait. The court? As in a vampire court? Valeria doesn't exactly seem pleased with my interest in this particular subject. Clearly it's a sore one.
Yes, a vampire court. Don't get too horny over the idea. It's far less glamorous than it sounds.
Yeah, because I thought the vampire court was just full of hot, sexy vampire ladies and not a ton of ancient old men.
They're the bane of our fucking existence, I'll have you know. Bureaucracy is soul crushing, regardless of if you actually have a soul.
Ah, I believe it. I can feel the annoyance rolling off her in waves, and I'm not sure if I have the guts to poke her about it and witness another of her brain-shaking tantrums, but my eyes twitching at the prospect of there being a whole entire vampire court in my hometown. Clearly, I'm doing a bad job at hiding it because she's narrowing her eyes at me. What is wrong with you? She scoffs loudly, her teeth bared. I've been caught. Oh, for fuck's sake, you are horny over it, aren't you? I offer her a sympathetic grin. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that they've been here, that you have been here existing among us the whole time. You can cut me some slack there, right?
You spend too much time on the internet, kitten.
Yeah, I do.
I can assure you, it isn't anything like you've seen in your little movies or your silly books. It's sterile and boring. They exist solely to make our lives hell and keep us in line.
Which we don't take kindly to, as I'm sure you can guess. Keep you in line? How? You're so strong and powerful. And stubborn, I want to say, but I quite like my head being attached to my body.
Oh, sweet of you. But despite how incredibly powerful the three of us are, there are, unfortunately, far older, far scarier vampires than us out in the big bad world.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I'm sure you know better than anyone that you can't get away with much without it ending up on Twatter these days. Twatter. That's what they call Twitter in Grand Theft Auto as well. It's twit. I said what I said. Can you imagine one of us getting caught feeding, killing? That shit would go viral fast. Can't exactly disagree.
The world is garbage and full of garbage people. Even creatures like us have evil overlords who want to control us.
She pauses for a moment and then she grins. It's a bit unnerving, if not slightly arousing. Though the court is no match for our Laurel, I'm pretty sure they've been plotting their downfall for decades. From the little interaction I've had with Laurel, I think to myself that they'll probably succeed. You know, talking to you is quite literally the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me.
I should think so too. I'm wonderful.
I huff a laugh, nodding in agreement, and then a weird, stagnant silence falls between us. I'm so sorry for the Discord notifications. I need to remember to just shut down Discord completely when I start recording shit. I feel like I need to broach the subject of her maybe possibly doing me a solid and turning me, but I'm hesitant to break this weird, strangely comfortable rapport we seem to have going on here, where she doesn't really look like she wants to kill me anymore. Valeria is staring at me, her brain clearly working hard to try and figure me out, and I hate how much of an open book I probably am.
You know, siring someone is not a thing our kind takes lightly.
And my traitorous human heart and brain is no match for her. She continues, stepping closer.
It's a commitment that no mortal could ever fathom. Something more permanent and intimate than any futile bonds made during a human's lifetime. You're tethered for the rest of your immortal life, for eternity, unless one of you turns to ash.
Maybe even then.
Despite the distance between my sire and I'm still all too aware of his existence.
Sounds like it was a bad parting of ways. I watch her expression shift, a subtle change that looks almost human, her sharp, otherworldly beauty softening for the briefest of moments before she's back to being cool and perfectly collected. There's something almost soft and vulnerable about her under all that bravado and snapping teeth. It's nice.
I was turned against my will, as most of us often are, and a person like me doesn't do well with being betrayed. I was rich and beautiful and free, and I fell in love with a man that I believed would join me in that freedom.
Aw, man.
I believed that we were the perfect match.
And then? Valeria glares at me and I decide to dial down my curiosity. I'm trying to get lucky here, not straight up murdered.
And then, that bastard goes and kills me on our fucking wedding night.
Ooh, that's a bit rough. She bares her slender throat with the tip of her head and a sly smile before grabbing my wrist and yanking me closer. It's a bit late to play coy, you can touch. It's invisible to the naked eye, but when she guides my hand to her neck, I carefully run my fingers over her cool skin. I feel the raised, long-healed scar. Can't help but shudder. Whoa. Teeth, sharp and unforgiving. The scar is messy and deep, and clearly her sire showed her little mercy in her final moments of mortality.
He loved me, and I loved him, even after what he did. But I could never forgive him for taking that choice away from me. For not even giving me one in the first place.
What a piece of shit. She releases me and lets her hair fall back over her shoulder.
The years all begin to bleed into one eventually. You watch your family die, all while you remain unmoored, just existing somewhere in between.
The downsides of immortality, my friends.
You prepared for that. To watch your loved ones wither and die. To be tethered to me for the rest of time.
Her smirk is devilish. Just gonna go ahead and save it in case I regret my decision. My heart is a hammer in my chest, ready to quite literally burst out of my ribcage alien style. Is this really happening? I'm so fucking ready. I've never been more ready for anything in my life. You know, I'm impressed. I can't detect even an ounce of hesitation on you. She grabs my chin again, tightly, leaning in to run her nose along the edge of my jaw. I shudder from head to toe.
Before they die, humans tend to reek of fear and dread. Oh, it's exhilarating. But you...
When she pulls away, just enough for her to make sure I can look deep into her eyes, she bites on her bottom lip.
You smell like excitement. It's the most delicate, intoxicating ambrosia. I can't wait to taste you.
My breath hitches and I nod slowly, but with great enthusiasm, trying to telegraph that I'm incredibly fucking stoked right now without having to use my brain to form a coherent sentence. My heart does something weird in my chest again, an inverted beat, all of my blood rushing the wrong way as I try to focus on the sight of Valeria moving towards me with greater intent and that hungry look in her eyes.
Oh.
She laughs, tutting quietly.
Oh, don't be afraid, little bird. I'll take good care of you.
Hell yeah. Stupid of me to forget that she can hear the way, let me try that again. Stupid of me to forget she can hear the way the organ is literally trying to pound its way out of my body, my ribcage ready to be split open and let everything vital pour out onto her nice silk bed sheets. But they cost a lot of money. She tilts her head, a sharp smile cutting her perfect face into two as she reaches out and curls cold fingers around my wrist. She feels the bumps of my veins, and with the delicate bones, with the pad of her thumb, I think it might be the horniest thing I've ever experienced. Yeah?
I promise to make you feel good first.
Oh. First?
Well, yes. Before the whole killing you part.
Oh yeah, you know what? That does make sense. Shit. Right. That. Killing me and then bringing me back as your favorite new immortal partner. She snickers and boops me on the nose with a fingertip. Aw, cute. You're cute. Not exactly an answer, but okay. Well, I guess there's no going back now. I'm just glad I'm going out this way, and if she refrains from fully murdering me, we'll have a nice experience to look back on together.
Your heart is beating so fast, like a little rabbit. It's so noisy.
Yeah, well, you know, the situation I'm in. She brings my wrist to her mouth, brushing her lips over my pulse point. I can see the white of her fangs, the thread of them making my toes curl, and then she licks a wet stripe across my skin, stopping at the heel of my hand to apparently savor the taste. You taste sweet, like honey. Is that a good thing? Her answering laugh makes me flinch. She's quick to grab my other wrist as she settles over me, her thighs astride my waist. She's petite in stature, but there's nothing small about Valeria. She looms, filling the room with an almost oppressive presence, even when standing beside a physical giant like Ilias or someone like Laurel who can cut you to the core with just a look. Her dress rides up her legs as she shifts on top of me, already leaving little to the imagination but the way the fabric pulls at the curve of her hips makes my mouth water. I'd reach out and touch her if she wasn't pinning my wrists above my head. But then I can't exactly bring myself to be mad about that. Stay. I nod. I have no interest in disobeying her.
Now, tell me what you want, kitten. Use your imagination.
Oh, shit. Okay. There's more choices. Let's go ahead and do this episode. I want you to spice it up. Cuff me. I feel like I could fight God and win right now, so... I pointedly look at the handcuffs and Valeria follows my gaze. You really want to play? I nod. I do. Very well. Valeria releases my hands, but I keep them exactly where she placed them as she leans over and retrieves both the handcuffs and a sliver of black silk. She holds them both up in the air and looks somewhat triumphant. Both? Yes. Yes, both please. She takes a hold of my wrist first and closes the cool metal around them. The click of the locks feels like the final nail in my coffin.
Oh, it's been a while since I've been with a human. You're all warm and fragile. It would take so little to break you.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I've already been broken since we've been in here, but, you know. Break? She laughs again, a more condescending noise this time, her dark hair falling over her shoulders as she leans closer, our noses brush. Now close your eyes. I obey and the cool silk of the fabric is placed over my eyes. Suddenly hyper aware of every touch he bestows upon me, my other senses sharpened to a knife's edge. Let's get you out of these pesky clothes, shall we? Fuck yes. Fuck yes! I can feel her hair tickling my throat when she leans in, a commanding palm splayed flat against the center of my chest. It's a wordless command to stay down. Like I could even think about moving when she has me like this. Do you miss looking at me? Miss touching me? I groan as she leans in and nips at the soft flesh of my throat, the vague promise of Fang driving me fucking crazy. I've always been into the idea of being bitten by a vampire in theory, but that was when I thought they were nothing more than a figment of the population's imagination, something that lived only on pages or in movie and TV screens. Knowing that they're real and having one directly above me intending to fuck me and bite me is a whole nother story. Those fakers can never hold a candle to the real thing.
Such a lovely specimen.
Oh, well, thank you. I wonder what you'll taste like. Her clever fingers walk down my abdomen at an agonizingly slow pace, finally settling between my thighs, and I swear I see God, or maybe the devil, when she finally touches me where I need it the most. I try to catch my breath between the not-so-gentle waves of pleasure as we move together, Valeria intermittently whispering filth in my ear like she intends to kill me with a dirty talk instead of fangs. If only you could see yourself all wrapped up like a present. Her voice wraps around my throat, filling my lungs like smoke. I nod mutely, past the point of coherency, of making any sense whatsoever. Every part of me is lit up and turned on, my blood rushing fast and hot, and there's a distinct feeling rising from the darkest depths of my stomach. It curls at the base of my spine and squeezes, and I know my time has come. To come. Valeria pushes her thumb into my mouth until I'm choking on the remainder of my sentence.
Don't be cliché, kitten. You don't need to say it. I can smell it on you.
I need this! Yeah. I'm impressed that you lasted this long. I make a weird noise that I hope I don't remember later, if I even have a later. Bodes well for me that my feeble human stamina impresses you. She laughs and the sound makes my toes curl, her eyes dark and reverent and swallowing me whole. Like she knows exactly when I'm about to fall over the precipice I've been desperately clinging to. She leans in and presses her lips to mine, hard enough to brand the shape against my skin. I let go and I'm free falling. I come gasping, Valeria swallowing the sounds, even making some of her own, and then she has her fangs on my throat. As the sharp points of her teeth pierce my flesh, I feel a white-hot burst of pain, the kind you get if you curl your fingers around a scalding pan straight out of the oven, but then it's gone. It hurts, still, but the pain bleeds into something verging on pleasure. It spreads throughout me, warm and tingly, not much unlike the feeling I've just experienced. I furrow my brow and try my hardest to stay lucid as she drinks. The noises she makes are sensual, little whimpers and groans muffled by the thick glut of blood that slides down her throat. I still have the brain power to decide that it's the hottest thing I've ever experienced, and I just fucked a vampire. Valeria shudders and pulls back. She yanks the blindfold off my face, and what I see makes me wonder if I'm already dead. If I'm in a really fucked up version of vampire heaven. Her eyes are wide and glittering as the line of blood, my blood, trickles down her chin.
Fuck.
She presses her fingers into her skin to stem the trail, catching the liquid before messily pushing as much of it into her mouth as she can. She sucks her digits clean.
Like cherries. Ripe ones. Better than I anticipated.
Better than I anticipated. Actually, that's not true. She licks the red from her teeth and smirks down at me, and my dying heart stutters in my chest. Now, time for dessert. She bites into her wrist. 2 perfect puncture wounds that drip a deep, dark red, the most perfect little beads surfacing on her pale skin. She presses it into my mouth, and the taste of copper bursts against my tongue. It's cold. Instinctually, I drink until she pulls away, apparently satisfied.
Good night, little bird. See you on the other side.
I feel her hand brush over my eyes, her touch feather-light. Everything goes dark again. The tingling in my limbs gets stronger, and death feels a lot nicer than I had anticipated. In fairness, I just came my brains out, so I'd say it was a pretty good curtain call. I know how this goes. I spent enough time writing this shit online. Dizziness, nausea, blood vessels constricting as the body tries to compensate for its losses. But this is different. Maybe if it was the blood that Valeria fed me, like some kind of morbid vampire ibuprofen. Take 2 on a full stomach before dying and wake up eternally hot. She's still touching me, her cool fingertips tracing the shape of my lips, brushing over my eyelashes where they fan against my cheeks. I wonder if she's helping me through it. It's intimate. It feels like the start of something. The pain begins to reach a fever pitch as my body readies itself for transformation, but Valeria's lips are at my ear before I lose consciousness, her voice breathy and sweet, gentle in a way it wasn't before.
I can't wait to see what kind of monster you'll become.
I feel a strange sense of peace through the pain as it peaks and tapers into numbness, and I let go. Let myself fade away. See you on the other side. Part 4, Rebirth. And that's where we're going to save it for next time. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I did. So, thank you guys so very much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, please consider subscribing. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.